Ready for a shakeup in how we find the right patients for clinical trials? The future of drug development isn't just about state-of-the-art therapies. It's about finding real people who will benefit most from them. Clinical studies often falter because they struggle to recruit enough diverse, representative participants. But combining real-world data, RWD, with machine learning, ML, might just be the game-changer pharmaceutical innovation has been waiting for. Still, some in the industry remain skeptical. Can algorithms and data truly ensure fair, effective studies? Let's dig in and see what you think. What makes a meaningful patient group? Let's start with the basics. Assembling carefully chosen groups of participants dramatically boosts clinical trial success. These well-defined cohorts, groups of patients with shared characteristics, not only make results more applicable to everyday healthcare, but also speed up timelines and make regulatory approval smoother. For example, studies published in 2019 revealed that using automated, data-driven pre-screening methods trimmed time spent screening patients by a whopping 30 to 35%, brought in 15% more candidates who fit trial criteria, and increased participation rates by 10%, compared to the slower, more manual methods we've relied on for years. Who wouldn't want that kind of efficiency? But here's the part most people overlook. A genuinely relevant patient population is more than just a clinical checkbox. It has to reflect real-world diversity. Think age ranges, gender identities, ethnic backgrounds, and various medical conditions. If a clinical trial only includes one type of patient, can we really trust that its results apply to everyone? Including underrepresented groups, like older adults or people with multiple health issues, isn't just an ethical move. It directly improves how treatments work across all patients. Plus, when your cohort is well-targeted, fewer participants drop out or get disqualified partway, which keeps timelines and budgets on track. Cracking the code, patient selection factors. So what actually drives the selection of a perfect patient cohort? A mix of clinical criteria, like diagnosis and disease stage, geography, how close patients are to study sites, patient awareness, and demographic factors, age, gender, etc., all play a role. Researchers assign weights to each parameter depending on the trial's focus. For instance, if the trial is about a rare disease, clinical eligibility and patient access become critical. These parameters might get a much higher focus than others. Pharmaceutical companies are starting to use sophisticated scoring systems to prioritize the most relevant factors, because in trials, every detail counts. It's also worth noting that these weightings aren't set in stone. Depending on the disease severity or how easy or hard it is for patients to access care, the priority of each factor can be adjusted. By pulling data from a variety of real-world sources, researchers can paint a fuller, more nuanced picture of patient populations and their specific needs. And that's a detail not everyone in the industry fully appreciates yet. Where does all this real-world data come from? Traditional recruitment, toasting flyers in clinics or sending generic email blasts, just doesn't cut it anymore, especially when we need studies to reflect true patient diversity. RWD, drawn from everyday healthcare and patient experiences, is revolutionizing this process. When you combine sources like electronic health records, EHRs, insurance claims, patient registries, pharmacy data, input from wearable devices, and patient-generated reports, you get a multidimensional, real-world snapshot of who patients truly are, how conditions impact their lives, and what treatments they're actually receiving. But here's where it gets controversial. While the promise is massive, the patchwork nature of global healthcare systems means data quality, access, and relevance can vary wildly from country to country. For instance, oncology trials make up 34% of studies utilizing RWD, or real-world evidence, RWE, far outpacing those in the nervous system, 12%, or cardiovascular, 10% fields. Geographically, China is at the forefront, accounting for 30% of RWE trials globally, with Italy, Germany, the US, and Japan trailing behind. Is the rest of the world missing out? Or are there legitimate concerns about data quality and privacy? That's up for debate. When RWD sources are thoughtfully combined and harmonized, they provide a deep, accurate understanding of disease trends, patient characteristics, and even physician behavior. A huge advantage, especially in complex fields like oncology, where no two patients are quite the same. Integrating this multi-source data is the linchpin for quicker, fairer patient recruitment. Winning combinations, top data pairings for recruitment. Not all data combinations are created equal. Here are some especially effective approaches. Pairing EHR and claims data gives researchers a full-circle view, not just what happens in the clinic, but also ongoing care patterns, which is perfect for large-scale, long-term trials. Combining EHR and patient-reported data lets you blend clinical facts with lived experiences, expanding your reach for quality of life or symptom-driven studies. Linking hospital records in wearable device data makes it possible to flag patients whose health status changes quickly, crucial for studies involving dynamic or fast-moving conditions. Using EHR together with lab data, such as biomarker results, helps filter out ineligible patients before they even enter screening, saving time and heartbreak in drug trials with strict requirements. And this is the part most people miss. Success hinges not just on the data itself, but on how skillfully you weave it all together. Machine learning, sorting through the noise. Here's where the tech magic comes in. Machine learning models can sift through massive data sets to predict which patients are both eligible and likely to stay in the study. By analyzing patterns across EHRs, everything from past diagnoses to medication history, these algorithms can flag the best candidates, sometimes in real time. Different machine learning methods, like predictive modeling, natural language processing, or even deep learning, are each tailored for different screening challenges. Yet, a big question looms. Can these models spot intangible human qualities, like motivation or willingness to join a study, that numbers alone might miss? Some experts believe the technology's reach is overhyped. What do you think? Proof points. Real-world wins with RWD ML. Pharmaceutical companies aren't just theorizing. They're already seeing real-world benefits from harnessing RWD and ML. Case studies show big gains. Recruitment is faster and more precise. Trial participants are more representative, and study results hold up better when therapies reach broader populations. Plus, timelines shrink and costs go down, but there's still debate over whether this initial success will always scale. That's something every organization needs to weigh. Your essential playbook: how to lead the pack. If you're ready to champion RWD and ML-driven recruitment, here are some recommendations to guide your approach. Pull from a smart mix of data sources: EHRs, claims, wearable devices, patient reports, hospital and lab information, to construct the clearest picture of potential participants. Match your machine learning.